Hi YouTube, it's Kathy, and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for August 15th through 21st. This week I read one book, I watched one show, I watched one movie, and I listened to one book. For those of you following along on our cross-country tour, we are currently in Middleton, Nova Scotia, which is about 15 minutes away from where I grew up until the age of 12. So it was very exciting to see that yesterday. That will eventually show up in one of my vlogs. You're probably about 10 vlogs out, let's not lie at this point. As I previously mentioned, traveling takes a lot of time, which is why I am consuming less things this month and probably next month as well. But what I did consume this week was excellent. The book I read this week was The Other Black Girl. This one, all I knew about it going into it was it had to do with black women in the publishing industry, and that's all I needed to know to want to read it. So I was pleasantly surprised when I went into it, and it wasn't a straight contemporary. It had a mystery thriller edge to it, which some of it worked for me and some of it didn't. I liked some of the symbolism that was used in this mystery, and it's very hard to talk about because obviously I don't want to give you any of the twists or the spoilers ahead of time. I liked some of that. I liked seeing how certain things would unfold. I liked how the main character was trying her best to get ahead, and at every turn she seemed to be thwarted. However, there were certain aspects that were a little bit far-fetched and could have been fleshed out a little bit more, but overall I very much enjoyed it. If you don't know anything about this book, it's about this girl named Nella who's been working at this publishing house for 2 years. She's been the only black girl there the entire time. There aren't any other people of color in the office, and then one day another black girl is hired and she is very excited about it. Then of course this new black girl starts outshining her and seems to be getting these promotions and these great things from the industry so much faster than she did, and she can't understand why. From there, as previously mentioned, it takes some sinister turns. I found this incredibly timely, especially because we are continuing to discuss how that industry is still very white. As for the one show I watched this week, I'm sure you can guess by this point, it was this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. In this episode, the twist is finally revealed to the top 4 queens. That twist being that the eliminated queens have been given an opportunity to come back. In this episode, we saw a lip sync smackdown. So basically the first queen eliminated and the second queen eliminated would do a lip sync battle. Whoever won that one would go on, and on from there. Whoever would win a lip sync would go on to battle the next person that was eliminated. What I found interesting about this format is if you were eliminated early, you had less of a chance of making it back to the top 4 and then the new top 5, I guess. And if you were eliminated nearer the end, you had a better chance and had to do less lip syncs to prove yourself to go back. Of course, because it's Drag Race, it ended in a cliffhanger, so we don't know which queen is coming back to join the top 4, but I'm excited to see who it was. Last night, because the cable package here doesn't have the Food Network, which is the second place in a row that has done that to me, and I'm just so sad about it, we actually had to sit down at a specific time if we wanted to watch a movie. So we decided to do that when we watched the movie Unstoppable, starring Chris Pine and Denzel Washington. It also had Rosario Dawson and Ethan Suplee, so I was very happy about that. This movie is based on true events. It takes place over one day, and it's about this series of unfortunate events that led to this unmanned train just rocketing through Pennsylvania and them trying to figure out how to stop it. It was incredibly tense at points. We were wondering what was going to happen. We were wondering what different methods they could try. I found it a fun time. The book I listened to this week was The Project by Courtney Summers. Like her previous book, Sadie, this one centers 2 sisters and their relationship. However, for the majority of the book, they do not see each other, which is very reminiscent of Sadie. There's a few big differences, however. One, we're getting the perspectives of both of the sisters, which we didn't get in Sadie. We got the perspectives of one of the sisters and then a podcast trying to figure out what was happening, which I absolutely loved. I'm not saying that this is better, I'm just saying it's a difference. Another difference is this one has to do with a cult. Essentially, the younger sister and her 2 parents were involved in a car accident, which left them dead and her very, very injured. She still has a very prominent scar on her face from this accident. She was left with her older sister, who now was charged with taking care of her. However, she took a lot of rehab, and her older sister fell into this very vulnerable place where she then ended up joining something called the Unity Project. Flash forward years later, and the sisters haven't seen each other, but the younger sister, Lo, is now working for a journalist. She's trying to work her way up to actually be a journalist, and somebody comes in talking about the Unity Project and how they think that led to the death of their son. She obviously has a personal stake in this and would love to find out what happened to her sister, but doesn't want to tell her boss about it, so she starts investigating it on her own. Throughout the entire book, you're trying to figure out whether or not this is actually just a very good organization that is trying to help people, or if it is in fact a cult, and I loved that element to it. Again, this is another book with a lot of twists and turns into it, so I think that's all I'm going to say. Besides, I very much enjoyed this book, and I want to read anything else like Courtney Summers writes. That's it for this week. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't feel like leaving a comment but want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or a smiley face if you happen to be on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support this channel, so I set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link for that is down below, as well as the link to my PayPal or my Amazon wishlist in case you would like to buy me a book. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!